If you are switching from Windows to macOS or you got a new Mac but you have no idea how to use it, then this video is for you. I did this switch before and I know that using a Mac can feel a bit confusing at first, but in this video I will show you all the important things that you need to know about using a Mac, and by the end of the video you will see that using a Mac is easier than you ever thought possible. So let's take it step by step. Step number 1, let's start with the basics. If you are coming from a Windows computer, there are a few important differences that you need to understand about Mac. First, the command key on Mac is basically the control key from Windows. So if you used to do something like Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V to copy and paste, for example, you will now use Command+C and Command+V. It might feel a bit strange at first, but you will get used to it pretty quickly. And also, most of the common shortcuts are still there, just with the command key instead. And I will give you a list of the most useful shortcuts at the end of this video. Another thing you will notice if you are setting your Mac for the first time is that the right click is turned off by default on Mac. Of course, you can still right click by holding the control key while you are clicking, but you can easily turn on the right click option in the system settings by simply going to the trackpad or mouse and toggle the secondary click option on. And also, you need to know that macOS is a very drag and drop friendly system. You can easily move files around, drop them into folders, and even delete them by simply dragging them into the trash can. Next up, when it comes to installing or deleting apps, things works a bit differently. On Mac, there is no control panel like in Windows, and most Mac apps comes in DMG file format. So after you downloaded an app, you just need to double click the file to open it, and you will usually see a window with the app icon and shortcut to the applications folder. All you have to do is drag the icon into the applications folder, and that's it. It's installed and ready to use. To delete an app, just open the applications folder, find the app you want to remove and drag it into the trash. Another thing that usually confuses beginners is how closing app works on Mac. Clicking the red X button at the application window doesn't close the application completely, and you can easily see that there is a small dot at the bottom of the app icon in the dock that indicates that the app is still running. Well, there are some apps closes themselves completely, but not the majority. And if you want to fully close an app, all you need to do is right click on the app icon and then choose quit. Or you can also do this by the shortcut Command+Q. And if an app freezes and you are not able to close it, you can use the force quit window. It's similar to the task manager in Windows, and you can open it easily by going to the Apple menu at the top left corner of your screen and choose force quit. Or simply by pressing Command plus Option plus Escape key, and it will open this window for you. And last thing before diving deeper into the interface of macOS, I want to mention that if you are used to turn your computer on and off each time you need to use it, and maybe to save your work on Windows you might have used this hibernate mode to do that, here on Mac you don't need any of that. All new MacBooks now turn on automatically when you open the lid for the first time without clicking any button. And when you are done with your work, you don't need to turn it off, even though that option exists, but in fact all you have to do is just lock the screen and that's it. Even Apple says that you can keep your Mac on all the time, and turning it off isn't necessary and doesn't really make any difference. Alright, so after knowing these basic differences between Windows and macOS, it's time to have a look into the overall macOS interface and see how it will change some of the habits that you might have from using Windows. When you are in your Mac desktop, you will see a menu bar at the top of the screen. This bar stays at the same place but change depending on the app that you are using. It's like the menu bar in Windows apps, but on Mac, it always stays at the top of the screen instead of being attached to each application window. For example, if I open Safari, I see menu bar from Safari, and if I tap on the weather app, I see the weather app menu. And the only thing that always stays the same and doesn't change from app to another is the Apple menu in the corner, which contains the Mac primary options like shutdown, restart, or quickly launch the settings. On the right side from the menu bar, you will see the status bar, which has some small icons from your apps that provide you various quick options, and also in this area you will see some quick access to stuff like battery level, Wi-Fi, or date on time. And there is more of these quick options in the control center, where you can, for example, connect a Bluetooth device or start screen mirroring. And all of the options you will see here are very customizable. You can simply hold the control key and drag any option from the control center and place it directly in the status bar. And also in the settings, you can add even more stuff like a toggle for low power mode or current weather conditions to make it always visible to you. And one last thing before moving to the next point is when you're clicking on the date and time icon, it opens the notification center that shows you the recent app notifications, plus a space for adding your widgets, which you can add or remove directly from here. And talking about widgets, if you are using macOS Tahoe or newer versions of macOS, you are now able to also place your widgets directly in the desktop by simply right click anywhere in the desktop and choose edit widgets. This will open this widget panel for you, and from there you can choose any widget you want to add and simply just drag it and drop it in the place that you like. From there you can also remove widgets by simply clicking this minus icon in the widget, and if you close the panel you can still remove it by right click on the widget itself and choose remove widget. Next step, the bottom part of your Mac desktop. There you will see the dock. It's a place where you can list your apps, and each time you will open an app you will see the app icon pops up here, even if you don't have this app in the dock before. And this part is packed with features, and one of these features is the apps shortcut. If you have an older Mac version, it's called the lunchpad. The apps shortcut shows you all your installed apps, and you can drag any of these apps into the dock to pin it, and it will be easier for you for next time to open it. You can also place or rearrange other apps into it, and if you want to remove an app, you just need to drag the app until it becomes gray, and you will see this remove pop-up shows to you, and then you can lift it and it will be removed from the dock. Also, there's this small part near the trash. Here you can see the recent opened files and folders, and you can pin any file or folder into this part of the dock for quicker access. And of course, any file you click on it will open for you, but if you click on a folder it will expand like this. And if you right click on any folder, you can choose how you would like this expanded view to be, as a fan like this or as a grid or list. And while we are still in desktop, I would like to briefly mention that macOS can have multiple desktop or spaces, which you can switch between using the control plus the left or right arrow key from your keyboard, or swipe with 3 fingers to the left or to the right. This will help you organize your work better and don't get overwhelmed with many things in one place. And talking about many things in one place, if you have multiple opened apps on your desktop and you want to switch between them, you don't need to use the mouse or the trackpad and clicking on the app icon to do that. You can simply click the Command plus tab and you will see the apps that you are currently opened, and by holding the Command key and press the tab multiple times, you will see that the selection is cycling through them, and when you let go on one of them you will land there. Another built-in tool that could help you organize your workspace is Stage Manager. To enable it, just go to the control center and enable the option there. When you enable it, you will see that all of your windows are now lined up into the side of the screen, and only the window that you selected to work on is in the center. The point is that you can focus on one thing at a time on a clean desktop while you still have the overview of all of your opened apps. And before we leave the desktop and move to the next feature, there is a small trick you should know about, which is the hot corners. This is one of macOS hidden gems and can seriously boost up your productivity once you start using it. Hot corners lets you trigger specific actions just by moving your mouse to any of the corners of the screen. For example, you can quickly show the desktop, open notes, launch the notification center, or start screensaver, all with a simple move of your mouse. And you can simply assign different actions to each corner of the screen from the system settings by going to desktop and dock, then scroll down and click on hot corners. It may seem one of these unlikely to use features at first, but once you get used to it, you'll find yourself using it all the time. Okay, so now that we've covered how macOS interface works, let's take a look at some of the built-in tools and features that make using macOS not just different, but actually more productive and enjoyable. Starting with the Finder. The Finder is the equivalent of Windows Explorer. It's the app that allows you to access all your files and disk on your computer. And even the desktop that I've talked about before, it's part of the Finder. And you can customize the interface of the Finder to fit your needs. You can have the icons big or small, or even have them in a list view as I'm doing right now. Because for me, I found the icons view a little bit messy, and with the list view it's easier for me to find my files faster. The Finder has really great features, like compressing files for example. So if I selected some files and right click on them, I can then select compress files and have all of them in one archive file. And I also can easily create folder with this selected files without the need to create the empty folder first and then removing the files into it. And while we are talking about files, I want to mention a very useful feature of macOS, which is the preview of the files or folders. So if you have a lot of images, for example, and you want to have a quick look into one of them, you don't need to open the image to have a look at it. You can just select the image and click the spacebar and it will show it to you in a preview window. This feature could be also very helpful when it comes to viewing PDFs or text files. It shows you the content of the file without the need to open it. And if you have many files you want to preview, you can just click the spacebar on one of them and then use the arrow keys from your keyboard to navigate between them. Next thing is Spotlight. If you are looking for anything in your Mac, you can do this with Spotlight. You can open the Spotlight search bar by clicking this little search icon in your status bar. But the easiest and most used way to open it is by pressing the Command plus space on your keyboard and typing right away. So for example, if I want to open any app, I can simply press the Command plus space, then type the first few letters from the app name and then hit enter. And it will open this app for me. On top of that, Spotlight also contains some other cool features. For example, I can do some quick calculations on the fly or get units and currencies conversion, and even can type any question and hit the Command plus P to open the Google search. Also, directly from your Spotlight, you can track your flight by simply typing your flight number and it will show you a window with all the information about your flight. And with the new versions of macOS, starting from macOS Tahoe, you can now run some shortcuts from your Spotlight. So if you want to send a message for someone, you can simply open Spotlight and type SM and hit enter to open the Messages app. Or if I put maybe for example AR, I will see here archive utility or make an archive. It gives you anything matches what you are typing in. And the last thing I want to mention about the Spotlight app, it now has a very useful feature that can really boost up your productivity, which is the clipboards. So if you enable these features, it can hold everything you copied and you can back to it easily. Before this feature, to do this, you need to install external apps that provide you with this functionality. But now everything is built into your macOS, so it's a very nice addition and I started to use it a lot after upgrading to macOS Tahoe. But let me know in the comment section below what you think about this feature. Now moving on to the system settings. Here you can find everything related to your Mac, from changing your desktop wallpaper into setting up your Touch ID and passwords. Everything is organized to help you customize your Mac based on your preferences. On the left side of your settings window, you will see different categories like general, desktop and dock and so on. One of these categories that you must visit is the trackpad or mouse. Or you will see both pages if you have mouse and trackpad connected to your Mac at the same time. In these pages, you can enable gestures, which is a game changer feature of macOS. If you used your trackpad or mouse for just scrolling or clicking on stuff, you missed a lot. And let me show you why. First, you can swipe up with 3 fingers to see all your opened windows. And if you have your app opened on full screen mode, simply swipe with 3 fingers to left or right to switch between your full screen app and your desktop. And if you are in your internet browser like Chrome or Safari, you can swipe left or right with 2 fingers to navigate forward and backward. And you can do this with 1 swipe to the left or right with Apple Magic Mouse if you have it as well. You might also find it useful to know that with the trackpad, you can zoom in or zoom out by just pinching with 2 fingers, similar to what you will do on your smartphone. You can even rotate images by using 2 fingers rotate gesture, which is super handy in the Photos app or preview. And here's a cool one. If you swipe from the right edge of the trackpad, it opens the notifications center for you, where you can quickly check your calendar, reminders, or any alerts. Now that we've covered almost everything related to the navigation and settings on your Mac, let's talk a little bit about AI, because Apple Intelligence is now added into every new Mac. And here are the most useful AI features in my opinion. Apple Intelligence now integrates ChatGPT directly into Siri, enabling it to handle more complex questions, support follow-up queries, and even generate images for you. You will also notice an AI writing tool icon showing up when you're trying to write anything in any text area in your Mac apps. Whether you are in Notes, Mail, or Safari, it can suggest edits, summarizing text, or rewrite your sentences. And you can even activate this writing options for any input, not just in the Apple apps, by right-click on the input and choose Show Writing Tools. With this writing tools, you can, for example, quickly draft out an email and then right-click on it, and from the writing tools, choose Rewrite to create perfectly formatted email back. On top of that, Apple has also added a new toggle to reduce interruptions. When you enable this option, it analyzes your notifications, filters what matters most, and shows you only the important ones, helping you stay focused without missing anything urgent. To enable this feature, just go to Control Center, Focus, and then select Reduce Interruptions. Okay, so let's talk about Photos, because the Photos app on Mac has now 2 major AI features. The first one is really impressive, and I've already started using it a lot. So let's say you are in a vacation and took some picture of historical places there. Most of the time these photos will be filled with people that you don't want to capture. Now with the new AI powered cleanup tool, you can easily make those unwanted people or objects vanish with a few clicks, making your photos look clean and focus just on what you want to highlight. The other feature that added to the Photos app is the new AI search. So for example, if you have a lot of photos and you want to find specific one, you can just simply describe what is inside the photo and the AI will find it for you immediately. So let's say I want to find a photo of a girl sitting on a bench on the front of the seat. I can simply write this description in the search box and the new AI search will instantly find this photo for me. The next AI feature I will talk about will be very helpful for students. Let's say you are in a lecture in your university and you have a voice record of this lecture. Now in the Voice app, you can with one click get the lecture written for you in seconds. And it doesn't stop there. Even if the audio isn't recorded in your Mac, you can simply drag and drop any voice file into the app and generate a full transcript. But here's the real game changer. The AI can also instantly summarize the lecture, highlighting the key points and takeaway, so you can review the essentials without listening to the whole thing again. There are also some fun features like AI generated memojis and image playground, but I will skip those for now to keep this video short, and they are less important than the mentioned features. Alright, we've already covered a lot of macOS features, so thank you very much for watching up till this point, and if you found this video helpful so far, don't forget to hit this like button and subscribe for more content like this. Now let's check out some hidden features and time-saving tips that can really improve your Mac experience and make your everyday tasks a lot easier. Starting with renaming multiple files at once. Imagine you have several photos related to each other and you want to rename them in incremental order. Of course you can rename them one by one and spend the whole day doing this, or you can simply do that by selecting all of these photos and right click on them and go to rename. And from there we will choose format, and let's say I want all the names to start with the label image, and then I want to have a hyphen to separate the name from the number, and here I can decide that the photos will start from the number 0 or any other number. In my case I will start from 1, and from this small option here I can choose this number to be shown before or after the label. Check out the preview here to see what looks better for you. In my case I will leave it as it is because I like the label to be before the number, and I will then hit rename, and all of my images renamed immediately. Now moving on to the next cool feature, this time it's in terminal. If you don't use your Mac for coding or IT related work, you might not open the terminal very often, but this is a really useful command that lets you check your internet speed in a very simple way. Just open your terminal and type network quality and then hit enter. This command runs a built-in analyzer that tests your internet connection and shows you a report contains information like upload, download speed, as well as the responsiveness. Super helpful when your connection feels slow. Next up, forget about Command plus V when pasting. Always when you are trying to paste a text that you've copied from internet, for example, you will end up pasting the format as well. And if you are still removing the format manually after pasting, I can tell you that you are wasting your time. Instead, you can paste using Command plus Option plus Shift plus V. This shortcut will tell your Mac to paste your copied text as a plain text and removing any formatting. As we are talking about text, here is a quick tip that could save you a lot of time. So instead of writing your address every time you want to fill out a form or writing it in an email or anywhere, which usually takes time, especially if you are like me, always forgetting about your postal code and you need to look it up, here is a very simple and clever way to do that. Just open your system settings and go to keyboard and select text replacement. Now hit this plus button and type, for example, $address, and in this input you can write your full address as you normally write it in any place and click add. Now whenever you want to write your address, instead of writing the full address, just type $address and you will now see this address here in this suggestion pop-up. Hit enter and now you will have your address filled out immediately. Coming up next, we have the built-in image converter in the quick actions menu. Let's say you want to upload some images into a website online, and this website has a size limitation of the images. In that case, instead of looking for an image optimizer app and download a random apps that you don't need just to do that, you can simply select the image or collection of images that you want them smaller and right click on them and go to the quicker actions menu, and from there choose convert image. This will open a small window that gives you the possibility to change the image format if you want, or just choose a smaller image size format from this drop down. The good part about it is that the converted images are not replacing your original ones, because macOS create another version of your images but with the smaller size. And also this quick actions menu lets you remove image backgrounds in just one click, super fast and no extra apps needed. Okay, so as we come to the end of this video, let me share with you some shortcuts that I use almost all the time and you will probably end up using them every day. Command plus C to copy, Command plus V to paste, Command plus Z to undo changes, Command plus Shift plus Z to redo changes, Command plus Q to quit the app that you are currently in, Command plus S to save your work, Command plus F to search for something, Command plus space opens Spotlight, Command plus Tab to switch between your opened apps, Command plus I opens the info window of the selected item or the info window of the current window in the Finder. Command plus the plus or minus sign to zoom in and out in the current app. Command plus Control plus Q to lock your Mac. Control plus Command plus space opens up emojis window. Shift plus Command plus 3 to take a screenshot for the whole screen. Shift plus Command plus 4 to open screenshot tool in selection mode. Shift plus Command plus 5 opens screen recording, which can be used also to take screenshots. And also from this options window, you can change the screenshot default store folder or set up a timer. Control plus space to switch the language, which you can also do with the FN key in the new Mac keyboards. And the last shortcut in our list for today is the Command plus comma, which opens the settings window for the app that you are currently in. So now you know the most important things to get started with your Mac confidently. And yes, it's different from Windows, but once you get used to it, you will find that it offers smoother experience that can really boost up your productivity. Let me know in the comment section below what was the most confusing part for you and what would you like to see next on this channel. And see you in the next video.